to Tona Shape It Room. I'm going to give you a neat little trick today that can change your riding. I'm going to show you how you can fine tune the rails of your Tona kiteboard with just some sandpaper and a block of wood. Rails are an extremely important part of most board designs. Basically, it's the area where the water separates from the board, so you can control a lot by how that water release takes place. We seem to pay a lot of attention to it in the surfboard world when we're shaping surfboards, but in the kiteboard world it just seems to be overlooked quite a bit. The same principles hold true though for the kiteboard as it does with surfing. So basically, if you have a straight edge, and the water will kind of release off of it straight away, so you have early separation between the board and the water. If you have a more rounded edge, we can control how that water wraps up over the edge of the board, and the amount that water wraps up depends on the radius of the rail. And by controlling that, you can change the ride of a board and its characteristics quite a bit. The more the water wraps around the board, the more the board sticks to the water, it holds the board down. The more it releases off quickly, like in this case, the separation between the board and the water is quite pronounced, makes it very slippery. Here you have a surfboard rail. You can see the softness of the rail, and it's more pronounced on a surfboard because it's a thicker medium. Generally it's traveling at slower speed, so the dynamics are a little different. But basically the same thing is happening on a kiteboard, just on a smaller scale, the size of the rail. Ever since we came out with the pop, the most common question I've been getting is why are our rails so thick? It's a couple of reasons really. First of all, strength, we get the desired strength we need. And second of all, having these thicker rails allows you to fine tune the rails. It gives you more room to do that. If the rail was too thin, there's no way we can sand that edge without damaging the board and weakening the rail. I'll show you on this prototype. This is a flow board with no graphics, basically just a naked board. What we've done is we made the urethane thick enough to give us enough space to sand away the rails to get the desired shape we need without getting too close to the core. That allows us to keep the strength of the board intact and also gives us the ability to round those rails. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to balance the two extremes of the sharp edge with a quick water release with the more wrapped edge with the stickiness to the water. And by controlling those two feelings, you can really fine tune the board, and you can actually make or break a board's performance depending on how that rail is rounded and how it transitions from round to sharp. So where do we want to shape, where do we want to soften? When I say soften, I mean more radius, sharpen is more of an edge. So generally speaking, you want the middle area of the board, start from the middle, to be soft, and as you go towards the tips, you leave it to the straight edge. So you have to blend it nicely from the centerpiece to the sharpened point. This is Andre's board here. He likes his rails quite soft in the middle between the heel positions, and he likes to keep that edge nice and crisp towards the tail. The Flow has a thinner rail than the Pop does, but still plenty enough to give you that roundness that we can get out of these rails. The Pop having a thicker rail, we thought because of all the channels and the ability to really grab onto those channels, we wanted the ability to have an even more rounded rail should the rider desire that sort of ride. So we left the rails thicker with the Pop than on the Flow. But the Pop generally has more pull and more grab on it because of the channels, so we thought by softening the rails more, we can really balance the ride out well. The Flow in general is a smoother riding board, so we didn't need to go as thick with the rails, but we can still take the edge off of it to fine tune the riding.
So start off making smooth, long strokes. Don't stay in one area for too long. So the longer the stroke is, the less chance of you getting any up and down, highs and lows. Always stop and make sure you check as you continue. You don't want to take too much off the first time around. So, double check those rails, keep an eye on it, keep an eye on the edge, and just fine tune until you get the desired edge that you need.
Here's another neat feature of the ability to fine tune the rails. If you use bindings, you could possibly just fine tune one rail for choppy conditions and leave one rail fairly sharp, so you'll round off one side and then leave the other side fairly sharp for maybe smoother conditions, and you can then switch your bindings around one heel side to the other heel side. So basically you have options of two different boards. Play with it, experiment with it, try different rail configurations on one side first. If you like it, you can reduce it on the other side. Toe side riding may want more bite, so you may leave it sharper on the toe side, heel side a little bit rounder. There's lots of variations, and basically it's all your personal choice. What you think will make your board ride the best. Well, that's about it for rails. As you can see, you can take your Tona board and fine tune it to the ride that you like. Truth is, you can probably do it with any board. Just be very careful if it's one of those thin rails. I wouldn't sand too much off of it because you could weaken the board to the point of failure. But with the Tona board, as you've seen, we've designed it into the aspect of the board where we will allow you to fine tune those rails to get that desired ride you like. So basically, out the box is perfect. Perfection comes even more so when you fine tune your Tona board and get it right into exactly how you want. Thanks a lot. See you out there.